It's top of the table in CSK taking on the wooden spoon holders at the moment in SRH. Game number 23 to be played in Delhi. This is going to be the first game this season to be played at this venue, and we're going to help you pick your fantasy teams. You're watching Coin DCX Co presents ESPN Cricinfo Fantasy Pick. Joining me on this segment, Ian Bishop and our in-house fantasy expert in Gaurav Sundaraman. But before I go to them, here's what our ESPN Cricinfo Safe Bet 11 looks like. We've got Johnny Bairstow. Remember, he scored 118 runs of 67 balls in power play over this season, the most for any player in the league. And also his power play strike rate of 176 is the best in the league so far. We've got a cutoff there of minimum 20 balls. Now, David Warner, Faf du Plessis, also part of our team. Faf du Plessis, in fact, we've gone in with as our captain. He scored 214 runs in 5 games at a strike rate of 138 so far. Also scored 167 runs in 117 balls against the fast bowlers. That's the most by any player this season. Ruturaj Gaikwad, another man in form. And then Kane Williamson, who's also a vice captain. Remember, he scored a 51 ball, 66 in the previous game against Delhi, and has also scored 301 runs in 8 games at a strike rate of almost 140 against Chennai, the team that they'd be playing next. Suresh Raina is also in the team. He scored 389 runs in 12 games at the average of 43 and a strike rate of 144 in the league at this particular stadium that's in Delhi. So that's an interesting stat that you must consider. Ravindra Jadeja, Abhishek Sharma, Rashid Khan are the spinners in the side, and the remaining bowlers are Deepak Chahar and Jagadish Suchit. We've got, remember, he scored an unbeaten 6 ball 14 in the last game and also was the most economical bowler. His economy was a 5.25 in the last game against Delhi. Okay, let me get started with you. I understand that in our Safe Bet 11, Faf and Kane are good choices as captain and vice captain. But if you ask me, I'd say make Ravindra Jadeja the captain. No, he's going to get you points with the ball, with while he's fielding, with his batting, isn't it?
Yeah, from a points point of view, it will work really well given the form that Jadeja's been in. His fielding, I call him the everywhere man in one of the games because every time the ball was hitting the air, he seemed to be the guy under it. And then, of course, his bowling. So it'd be a good choice only for the fact that you'd get a lot of points.
All right. Sam Curran, I believe you were surprised to see his name not being there in the Safe Bet 11.
Yeah, I would put Sam Curran in my Safe Bet 11 because he'd get you runs, he'd get you key wickets, although he can be expensive at times. Abhishek Sharma, I think when you've got Rashid Khan and you've got Ravindra Jadeja, I've got enough spin options there. So I would have Sam Curran in my 11.
Looks like Gaurav heard you because I can see his high-risk swaps and he's got Sam Curran in his team. But I'm going to ask you about Faf du Plessis. You've removed him from your team, Gaurav. I know that he's done well against Pacers. That's the stat that we alluded to earlier in the program. But I'm guessing you're believing that's one between Abhishek Sharma or Shutit will get him out early because he hasn't really performed well against spinners in that power play.
Not really, in the sense that I don't expect SRH to start with these bowlers anyway. The reason I had him out is because he's been performing for 3 consecutive matches now, and usually there's a failure. And the other reason, biggest reason, to be very honest, is that they're moving venues. So we have no idea how Delhi is going to play. We need to wait and watch. In fact, even for Hyderabad, for example, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Sandeep Sharma, all these guys might come back into the picture because in Chennai there was hardly any swing. And if there is some swing early on in Delhi, which we don't know, which we will know when the match starts, if there is some swing, these 2 bowlers become very, very effective. And they are very good for Sunrisers to get some early wickets. So I would tell the guys who are playing fantasy to be very sure about the squad as soon as the 11 is announced, because I expect a lot of changes. I expect Moeen Ali to come back for Chennai. Raidu had an injury in the last game, so I'm not too sure if he's going to start tomorrow. So you might have an Uthappa coming in, or you might have an extra bowling option. So it's slightly dicey this time, Nikhil, in terms of the options. So that's why there aren't too many changes.
Okay, interesting. He's got Moeen Ali in. Bish, what would you do? Would you bring Moeen Ali back if you were making the 11 for CSK? Because they got Imran Tahir in, and I'm just going by the record here in Delhi. It tends to help the spinners.
Yeah, look, I still want to wait and see what the pitch is like. If Moeen Ali, though, is fit, I think he walks back into that team. Not only for the spin option that he can give you, but for the batting that he gives them at number 3 this season. I mean, that in itself is worthy of his place.
And finally, irrespective of how the pitch is, if the ball is swinging or not, Bhuvi missed out last time around because he was injured. If he's available, does he come into any safe bet 11 that you're making?
Yeah, he's an outstanding bowler. Just like my good friend Gaurav, who I respect highly, who left Faf out on the probability of a failure, not knowing what the pitch is going to be like in Delhi. I find that a contradiction, Gaurav. Come on, keep the standards high. But if Bhuvi's there, he's in my safe bet, yes.
In my defense, the last 2 times I left out AB de Villiers and Andre Russell, and both didn't even. AB de Villiers didn't get a chance to bat, and Russell didn't perform. So,
prophetic.
Okay, good on you, Gaurav. But usually we tend to remember all our successes. Next time I'm going to look at the videos and then, swift through it every time that you've picked a player who hasn't performed. But we'll leave that for another day. For the moment, thank you so much, gentlemen. Ian Bishop, Gaurav Sundaraman, for joining us. You're watching Coin DCX Co presents ESPN Cricinfo Fantasy Pick.